Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Jamala binti Bakti. Our group will present about the agriculture, which is soil degradation by chemical fertilizer and air pollution in Malaysia. Now we move to introduction. Agricultural pollution can relate to the biotic and abiotic result of farming activities that pollute and degrade the environment and ecosystem, as well as harm humans and their economic interests. Contamination can arise from a variety of places. These contaminants can have both direct and downstream consequences, such as dead zones generated by agricultural runoff concentrate in big water bodies, which can kill local species or contaminate drinking water. So, in a broader sense, air pollution can refer to the presence of chemicals or substances in the atmosphere that not normally present and degrade the quality of the air, as well as give negative impact to human health, such as global warming. The first issue is agriculture, which is soil degradation by chemical fertilizer. Fertilizers are used to supply crops with nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which enhance plant development and boost agricultural yields. However, while they help plants to develop, they can also disturb normal nutrient and mineral biogeochemical cycles, putting human and environmental health at risk. According to Zakaria 2006, in 1960, changes in agriculture policies has begun in Malaysia. It started during the Green Revolution, which led to farmers becoming completely reliant on chemical fertilizers for growing plants. Moreover, according to Zakaria 2006, in 2004, Malaysia has imported 3.8 million tons of chemical fertilizer worth $529 million. Chemical fertilizer can be thought as medicine in the treatment of acute nutrient deficit in plants. For larger-scale growers in oil palm or rubber plantation, maintaining soil health will frequently rely primarily on chemical fertilizer, which are a quick fix. However, this could lead to an overuse of agrochemicals, which can be damaging to soil. Moreover, in 2015, there was a nearly 3% decrease in forest coverage in the Cameron Highland, and land use for agricultural activities has increased. In Cameron Highlands, ineffective law enforcement has resulted in many unlawful land clearings that breach the forest reserve and riverside regions, as well as unsustainable development methods such as farming on steep slopes, rain shelter, inappropriate use of pesticides and fertilizers, and soil erosion. The use of fertilizer and pesticide can result in runoff and erosion into water bodies, especially during periods of heavy rainfall. To summarize, preserving soil health is vital not only for preventing diseases in plants and sustaining crop productivity to provide food security, but also for maintaining a sustainable ecosystem of soil for biodiversity. Next issue is air pollution. One of the most important environmental issues affecting our civilization today is air pollution. Usually, it comes from human activities such as mining, construction, transportation, industrial operation, agriculture, open burning, and so on. The example of air pollution such as particles, which include organic and inorganic living molecules, and gases like ammonia, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and chlorofluorocarbon. As we know, air pollution can cause illness, allergies, and death to humans. It can also harm other living organisms such as animals and food crops, and can damage the natural environment such as climate change, ozone layer depletion, habitat, or environmental damage such as acid rain. In fact, Malaysia is a developing nation with an emphasis on industry. Industrialization and the combustion of fossil fuels are the primary drivers to climate change, as well as substantial causes of air pollution. Furthermore, according to the STAR 2020, there are 4 selected locations in Malaysia, which is Klang, Petaling Jaya, Shah Alam and Cheras, showing that the levels of carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide are high in urban areas. These pollutants are mainly caused by motor vehicles in this area. However, another causes of air pollution and bad air quality in Malaysia is because cross-border pollution. For example, fire forests in Indonesia. From their activities, it produced a thick haze until cross the boundaries that blanketing Malaysia and also Singapore. This air pollution causes respiratory problems and premature deaths. Fires have also destroyed wildlife, threatening one of the most diverse biodiversity ecosystem on Earth. For example, endangered species, including orangutans, have lost their habitat.
Summary of the environmental health analysis and pathway for agriculture. The issue is soil degradation. Soil degradation or depletion refers to a decrease in soil quality caused by factors such as excessive land use, cultivation and grazing, as well as urban and industrial uses. It entails the deterioration of the physical, biological, and chemical condition of the soil. The example of soil loss or degradation are a reduction in soil fertility, unfavorable increase in alkalinity, acidity or salinity, severe precipitations, the use of hazardous soil contaminants, drought, and depletion of the soil's structural state. The first cause of soil degradation is monocropping and the use of agrochemicals. Long-term farming will cause the soil to lose nutrients and reduce its resistance to insects and pests. So, farmers are forced to use pesticides to provide the required yield. The use of artificial fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemicals introduce heavy metal and often highly toxic chemicals into the land. The second cause of soil degradation is shifting cultivation. This is an ancient farming method where the slash and burn techniques was used to clear the land. The burning of crops have harmful effects on the soil, such as increasing the sensitivity to soil erosion and reducing nutrients. The third cause of soil degradation is urbanization. Urbanization deprives the soil of vegetation coverage, compacted the soil during the construction process, and changed the drainage method. It covers the soil in an impervious concrete layer, which increases the amount of surface runoff, which leads to more erosion of the topsoil. The first effect of soil degradation is loss of arable land. Soil quality degradation caused by agrochemicals and soil erosion has resulted in the loss of around 40% of the world's agricultural land. Moreover, soil erosion destroys the soil's top nutritious layer. This coating is abundant in the vital nutrients that plants and soil require, according to World Wildlife Fund 2021. The second effect of soil degradation is air and water pollution increase. Dust particles fuse in the air, causing air pollution, according to BIJUS 2021. In addition, the soil eroded from the land, along with the pesticide and fertilizers applied to the fields, is washed into streams and waterways that give effect to water pollution, according to World Wildlife Fund 2021. The third effect of soil degradation is clogging of waterways. Agricultural soil contains pesticides, insecticides, fertilizers, and several other chemicals. This pollutes the body of water through which the soil flows. Moreover, sediment accumulates in the water and raises the water level, causing flooding, according by June 2021. As a result, most of the soil eroded from the land, along with fertilizers and pesticides used in agriculture, are discharged into waterways and streams. Over time, the sedimentation process can block waterways and cause water shortage, according to Conserve Energy Future 2021. There are several interventions to overcome soil degradation problem caused by agriculture in Malaysia, which are International Conference on Sustainable Agriculture ICSA 2018, Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, International Fertilizer Association IFA, National Agriculture Policy Malaysia, Cooperative Institute of Malaysia CIM or Institusi Koperasi Malaysia IKM, and SW Corps. These interventions were divided into upstream and downstream intervention. The example of upstream intervention to overcome soil degradation problems in Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, and the downstream intervention is Cooperative Institute of Malaysia CIM.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Naimah binti Ahmad. So I will proceed to the next part, which is the summary of the environmental health analysis and pathway of air pollution case study in Malaysia. There are several factors that can cause air pollution happen. The first factor of air pollution in Malaysia is through industrial activity. Malaysia is a thriving country in the industrial sector. Therefore, development in some industrial areas such as in Selangor have led to increase in the emissions of organic and inorganic gases, chemical as well as dust. Excessive smoke or dust emissions from factories can cause air quality around us be polluted with the fine particles of heavy metals comes from factory chimney. Therefore, air containing these particles will be inhaled by human and it will cause ozone depletions and greenhouse effect. The second factor of air pollution happen in Malaysia is through motor vehicles or transportations. Nowadays, modern community more depend on the motorized transportation such as car, buses, lorry, and so on. Transportations will burn fossil fuel for movement that produce smoke, which can pollute the air. Besides, populations in Malaysia also increase day by day. Therefore, the registered vehicles used in Malaysia also increase. When the vehicles or transportation increase, so these vehicles will release the smoke into the air, and it can lead to or it can cause the air pollution happen. Besides, if the vehicle use is not maintained properly also, the vehicles will also excessive the smoke. Therefore, smoke contains toxins such as carbon monoxide will pollute overall of cleanliness of the air. Last but not least, the third factor of air pollution happen in Malaysia is through open burning. As we know, garbage that have been done by community in Malaysia is increasing day by day. Therefore, this garbage has to be disposed by burning in the landfill to prevent it from increase. These combustions will produce the fine particles, full odor, and toxic fumes, as well as acid gases such as hydrogen chloride. open burning can be done by usually been done by agriculture activity, which by the farmer will burning the tree, plants or leaf to making a fertilizer. Although the burning of tree, plants, leaf can make a fertilizer, but during the process of the burning, it will emit the smoke that pollutes air, and it also can disturb people around the area. Therefore, it clearly shows that air pollution that happen in Malaysia is due to industrial activity, transportations, and as well as open burning process. Next, we will continue to the effect of air pollution that happen in Malaysia. The first effect of the air pollution is it will affect human health. Human will suffer various diseases, especially respiratory disease such as asthma and the shortness of breath due to inhaling polluted air. This is because almost 50% in particles have a size only 0.01 to 0.1 micrometers, and it can penetrate the respiratory filtration system, and it will store it into our lung. Human needs clean air to live or to live. If they inhale the air that is polluted, the respiratory system will absorb various pollutants into their lungs. This will result in the process of converting carbon dioxide to oxygen not being possible, and the blood will suffer from the lack of the oxygen. The second effect of air pollution that happen in Malaysia is it will affect damaged crops. This is because plant needs air in the process of photosynthesis and growth. If the air was polluted, this will lead to lack of carbon dioxide for the chlorophyll production process. This will make the plant turn yellowish and will die. Plant tissue also suffering problem and will not due to the reactions of contaminants that attach on the tree and plants. Last but not least, the effect of air pollution that happen in Malaysia is it will affect the area and local climate. This is because various waste chemicals such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide will dissolve with water vapor, and it will fall as the acid rains. This acid rains is very dangerous because it will flow and seep into the soil and destroy the minerals in the soil, and until the soil become not fertilized anymore. Therefore, it will give effect towards our ecological and ecosystem balance that can give overall effect towards our earth. Lastly, it clearly shows that air pollution is one of the big issues that have been faced by every country, especially in Malaysia. And there are several interventions that are already be taken globally and by the Malaysian government to reduce air pollution happen. For the upstream, which is the global interventions, they already implement the intervention which known as the emission trading schemes. And for the downstream, which is government intervention, Malaysia government already implement the environmental quality clean air regulations 2014. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Rafida Najwa binti Zubi.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nofatina Zira binti Muhammad Idrus, and today me and my friend we are going to present to you about the intervention of sustainable agriculture. Basically, for list of sustainable agriculture intervention, they have 6 of intervention. which is the first one is ICSA, International Conference on Sustainable Agriculture. The second one we had FOA, which is Food and Agriculture Association, and the third one is IFA, which are International Fertilizer Association. These three is for the upstream intervention. Meanwhile, for downstream intervention, we had National Policy on Agriculture, and the second one we have Cooperative Institute Malaysia, CIM, and the last one we had SW.
For the upstream intervention, we choose Food and Agriculture Organization, which is FAO. FAO is one of the agency under the United Nations. The FAO has several core activities such as sustainable crop production, biodiversity and ecosystem services, and last, pest and pesticide management. So this intervention focus on the pest and pesticide management, which is IPM, integrated pest management. So IPM means different management method to protect soil quality and fertility crop. There are 4 management methods. The first is cultural control, then second biological control, third mechanical control, and lastly biological control. Malaysia are one of the country that followed the FAO and apply the IPM method. This can be looked on the MPOB. MPOB is the Malaysian Palm Oil Board that apply IPM in the chemical control by reducing the use of chemical pesticide. So to produce palm oil, fresh fruit bunch of palm tree will become empty fruit bunch after several process. So the empty fruit bunch will be used as mulch to protect the crops from the parasite and the infection. It also protects from the soil erosion increasing and maintaining the soil. So not only that, empty fruit bunch also have been used as the fertilizer because it's not harm the environment and can be known as effective fertilizer. It can be a long-term prevention rather than using chemical pesticide. Mechanical control also used by MPOB to control and reduce rat problem by trapping of pests using the barn oil.
So under downstream intervention, we had choose CIM, where CIM is an institution that provide training, course and consultation towards the board of corporate, individual who are interested, and also entrepreneur. So under agriculture program, CIM had implemented a program that known as Pertanian Lestari. So this Pertanian Lestari aims to reduce the environmental pollution due to agriculture activities and also to promote the shift from traditional method of agriculture towards the under Pertanian Lestari program, a new method of agriculture had been introduced that known as national farming method. As we all know, the use of chemical fertilizer will affect on soil composition, such as soil acidification, changing the soil pH, and also stunt growth of tree, as well as effect on reduction of organic matter in the soil itself. Basically, what is natural farming method? Okay, natural farming method is a production method that use natural fertilizers such as indigenous microorganism or IMO, in which this fertilizer contain of 3 main ingredients, which are rice, water, and also sugar. Next, these 3 main ingredients then will be mixed with another component such as food waste, straw, paddy field, eggshell, or other organic matter, and then it will be kept for 2-3 weeks for this composition process. And after the 3 weeks, it will transform into the compost fertilizer. This program had been implemented at Sekinchan, Selangor, and by looking at the result of applying natural farming method, the farmers had give a good response, as the production of fertilizer is at low cost, and second, it is effective for their agriculture activities. Other than that, natural farming method not only benefit to the farmers, but also it help the society by being able to generate income by produce and sell the fertilizer towards others. So the conclusion is the use of natural resource fertilizer able to help balance the soil ecosystem, as they do not leave the artificial compound in the soil and boost the plant naturally. So I pass to the next presenter.
This is the list of intervention of air pollution in Malaysia. So for the upstream intervention, the first is emission trading, second Montreal Protocol, and the third Hays Agreement Scheme. So for the downstream intervention, first collaboration of Department of Environment with Department of Road Transportation (JPJ), and the second Environment Quality Clean Air Regulation 2014, and the lastly the Public Transportation System. So next, Fatin will explain about the upstream intervention.
So for the air pollution upstream intervention, we had emission trading scheme. So emission trading scheme, also known as cap and trade trading, where it could help to reduce the air pollution issue. So this emission trading scheme is aimed to reduce the impact and also to reduce the content of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This scheme has been implemented at developed countries such as Europe, China, and Malaysia also one of a country that implement emission trading scheme. So in emission trading scheme, there are two types of market, which are the first one is voluntary market, and the second one is compliance. Malaysia is one of country that implement voluntary market of emission trading scheme. So Malaysia is one of country that implement voluntary type market of emission trading scheme. So according to UNFCCC report, Malaysia had agreed to reduce their carbon emission for almost 40% on 2020. Okay, so due to that, we can see is very committed to reduce their carbon emission. As we can see, there are so many innovation of green technology. There are also green building, smart building, for example, like Putrajaya. We can see a lot of initiative that be implemented there. Okay, and that's all.
For the downstream intervention, we choose the Environment Quality Clean Air Regulation 2014. This regulation made by government to reduce air pollution in various aspects. So for example, this regulation come out with API, which is Air Pollutant Index, to measure the air pollution condition in Malaysia. This regulation also states that any premises that release or is capable releasing the air pollutant into the free air, or any fuel combustion equipment or any industrial plant must oblige to this regulation. For example, a palm oil processing plant that have periodic monitoring by the DOE officer. So usually this factory using the boiler and chimney to discharge the air pollutants. So boiler emits pollutant like hazardous air pollution. So in this regulation, also have discussed about the limit amount of emission and how to operate the boiler properly. This is to ensure that all the equipment that used in the factory in the good conditions, because sometimes broken equipment can cause the air pollutant become worse. So for instance, the broken boiler chimney will emit the darkened emission that contrary to the regulation. That is why the regulation also mentioned about the responsible person in the premises. So the responsible person will monitor the premise operation to ensure that premise and all the equipment used comply with rules and regulation, so that it can help on reducing the air pollutant.